we're going to move over to Bryan Hodgson and Arkansas State. And Arkansas State played Akron for their first game. They did win in overtime, 80-75. For reference, Akron is around the same KenPom ranking as Arkansas State is. That's around 120, partially due to how Alabama beat UNC Asheville. They're currently sitting around 200. They were previously sitting at 194. Now they're at 208, right? So from an analytics standpoint, KenPom and a lot of the predictive measures would look at Arkansas State as a significant amount better than UNC Asheville, but still not the elite level of competition that Alabama's going to see, when Alabama's facing KenPom number 11 Purdue or 21 Illinois or 1 Houston or even like Rutgers and Notre Dame, right? This is a situation where Alabama is obviously stepping up in competition, but not up to the level that they definitely will be. So Arkansas State, what do we need to know about them? First off, they're coached by Bryan Hodgson. For those of you unaware, Bryan Hodgson was one of the assistant coaches that was with Nate Oates in Buffalo, came with Nate Oates when he was hired at Alabama, and now coaches at Arkansas State. This is his second season there, I believe. Yeah, this is his second season there at Arkansas State. And this is a game that he tried to get scheduled last season. He wanted to be able to play Hodge, so he plays him this year. And make sure I get this right. Yeah, he wasn't able to play him. We did play them last season, and this is something that Nate discussed, and Nate likes to be able to play his former assistants, and especially Hodgson. Hodgson's, again, somebody that came with him from Buffalo, and somebody he really respects. Hodgson's also an elite recruiter, and that's something that we'll actually talk about when we go through Arkansas State, and something you really need to know is a few of the guys on this roster are transfers from the high major ranks, and they're transfers that you may not have expected that Arkansas State would be able to land, right? It's the level of player that Hodgson has been able to get for Arkansas State is much better than you would expect. He was an elite recruiter. He was somebody that honestly was very high up with Aiden Sherrill, so I'm sure, Aiden seeing Hodge will be a good thing. It's kind of a situation where Hodgson was very close with Oates, right? These are two guys that are very, Hodgson was his ace recruiter prior to Preston Murphy, and is somebody that, they respect. So obviously part of the way that Hodgson is going to try to play is going to be similar to how Nate Oates does, right? When you look at Arkansas State's KenPom page, obviously it only has 1 day of ranking. But if you look at their KenPom page either this year or last season, right, Arkansas State is somebody that plays a little faster, right? They're not going to play at the speed of Alabama, but they are going to play a little faster. So I would expect the tempo in this game and the possessions in this game to be up, right, north of 70, 72, if I was expecting. And he's also somebody that they will take a lot of threes, right? It's very similar to Alabama. This is a team that takes quite a lot of threes. In that Akron game, they ended up taking 30 threes. Now, granted, it was an overtime game, so a little lower, but this is a team that is not afraid to put them up. And not afraid to put them up at multiple different positions, right? Very similar to Nate Oates. He likes to have guys that can pass, dribble, and shoot at all levels of the floor. He had 6 guys that took more than 3 threes and 8 guys that took more than 2 threes, right? So this is a situation where it's a volume play. It is a situation where multiple guys are going to be able to put them up, and a couple of the guys that are going to put them up, Alabama has faced before. One of the guys that's in the starting lineup for Arkansas State is Darian Ford, previously of Arkansas. He did not play at Arkansas, so Alabama didn't really face him much, but, transfer from a high major rank. Another one is Joseph Pinion. We did face him at Arkansas a little bit. I know that Joseph Pinion was playing and got tasked with the defense on Mark Sears, and it went very poorly for Arkansas. So that's something that I would kind of expect, that because of Arkansas, when Alabama played Arkansas and Pinion played for them, it was a situation where they needed Pinion from a shooting perspective because he can be a very good knockdown shooter. He actually went 4 of 5 in their game against Akron and was the Ken Palm MVP. Had 16 points. Right, had a pretty good game, but he's somebody that isn't as fast on his feet as a guy like Mark Sears or Aiden Holloway, right? So that's a place where I really expect that Alabama could take advantage and have some success. I will say that this is going to be another team where they're going to be a little smaller. We talked about that with the UNC Asheville team, that they did not have a ton of guys in their main rotation that were over 6'8". Arkansas State does have a single guy that's 6'11", but he's a freshman. It looks like he only played 8 minutes in this last game. So this is a situation where they have a couple of guys that are bigger, but 6'8", 6'9" is going to be about as big as they are. So it would not surprise me if we see a few more paint touches by Alabama in this game and points in the paint because of their inability to keep us out of the paint due to our size. I would also expect that Alabama potentially has a really good job or does a really good job rebounding in this game. Arkansas State got out offensive rebounded. They did a good job. It looks like it was 42-42, right? So from a total rebounding perspective, it was pretty even, but Akron did get 5 more offensive rebounds. And as we know, off of the offensive rebound, that's a spot where Alabama has a lot of success with the 3-point shot, right? So I would expect more of the same, right? When we look at Arkansas State, they have players from the high major ranks. So it's going to be a little tougher of competition as compared to UNC Asheville. Alabama's not going to double up Arkansas State. I do expect them to win and win comfortably, right? Like last season, Alabama ends up winning the game by 24, right? It was 89-65, right? I would expect that Alabama, this game is again somewhere in the 102 to 70 something range, right? If I was to guess, 100 plus to, high 60s, low 70s. And I think that Alabama's ability to play multiple guys, Alabama's size inside, right? No matter who you're looking at, Alabama's ability to rebound. Also, Grant Nelson, we didn't talk about him a lot in the UNC Asheville game because he played 17 minutes but only had 2 points. He definitely looked like a guy that was coming back from injury, right? He had a brace on his wrist. There were a couple of passes that he made cross court that he was throwing to Darion Reed, and me and the guy next to me were laughing because he was throwing it as if Darion was like 8 feet tall. And, he clearly was a guy that struggled because of coming back from injury. I expect him to have a better game, right? Each game that these guys play, especially him, Latrell Wrightsell, and Aiden Sherrill, I fully expect to get better and better and better as they knock off the rust and get back into full playing shape. Because, again, these guys didn't play in the scrimmages for a reason. They've been partially injured. They have not been at full health. So this is an Alabama team that, because of their depth, is going to be able to truly let guys rest. And, we don't need Grant Nelson to play 32 minutes. Right? We were able to get him 17 minutes of game time, so he gets some game time, but you sub in Jaron Stevenson, and you sub in Cliff, or you sub in Aiden. And so you get other guys in there that allow your team to actually rest. And this depth of this team is going to be absolutely incredible. And it's really what's going to set this team apart, right? I don't think that Alabama's going to go and this is without Chris Youngblood, right? I don't think Alabama's going to go 11 deep in every game. But we could, right? It fully is conceivable that Alabama goes 11 deep in every game. It's not, I fully expect all 10 guys to play in this one. Obviously, Chris Youngblood will not be playing in this game. But as I said, I think Alabama wins comfortably. I think this is going to be a little bit of a faster-paced game. Nate Oates, would want us to limit the turnovers a little bit because in that first game against UNC Asheville, Alabama they only ended up with 10 turnovers. I know most of those were in the first half, right? But that's something that you don't want to see get up when you're playing fast, is you don't want to get out of rhythm. You don't want to get out of sync. and that is something that is a possibility, right? But I think that Alabama playing a style in which they're very comfortable with, right? This is a Hodgson team that, again, is going to play a similar style to what Nate Oates is used to and what Alabama is used to, right? So I fully expect that Alabama to have some success in this game. I fully expect Alabama to win and to win comfortably. For everybody in the house, cheer loud, cheer proud. I wish I could be there, but like I said, I'm going down to the LSU game. So unfortunately, I am going to miss this one. I'll be back in Coleman for McNeese State, and I hope to see anybody there that's interested. My seats are in Section I, kind of up behind the camera. If you're ever interested in meeting me, that's where I'll be in Coleman. So let's move to the LSU preview. So if you are